All right. I'm Scotty. You're not. Pick 10. 90s 2. Number 7. 8. Number 8. Only two. Two left now. Number 8. Right? Sleeping with the Enemy, which is a movie I got from my mom. It was one of the movies I got from when I got from her. So, my mom is a big Julia Roberts fan. She had a bunch of her movies. I have Pretty Woman, which was originally going to be in this list, but again, I had to choose between two Julia Roberts films, just like I had to choose between two Tim Burton films, and so I decided to pick this. Probably should have picked Pretty Woman. Nothing to say bad about this movie. It's fine for what it is, but I feel like it. There's no middle act. Like there's no like. You have the beginning, and then she goes somewhere, and then you have the husband finding her, and then he finds her, and then it's over. There's a little cat and mouse game that he does, but nothing. It equals up to nothing. By the way, Stanley Kubrick needs to sue the guy for stealing the theme song from freaking Shining, which is music they use. They play it often in this. Maybe they had the rights to use it, but you hear that burn, 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 burn. It's The Shining. That's what I hear it. Here it is. So I don't know, but the story here is Laura, played by Julia Roberts, is in an abusive relationship with her husband, Patrick Bergen. So she fakes her own death, leaves him, and hides in some small town in Iowa. So she's closer to her mother, who she also lied to her husband about and said was dead. But she's really blind and living in a old folks home in Sioux Falls. Been through there. But the husband finds out that she's still alive. She can still be alive, and tracks her down. Okay, this movie is just a little over an hour and a half, and that's one thing I can say. It flies by. It's fast. It's fast paced. Even though nothing really happens in this movie, it flies by. And actually, you probably could have started this movie from her on the bus talking to that lady, explaining what happened, and you wouldn't have to watch the beginning of this. I'm serious. She basically lays out to this lady what happened. That they got married, it seemed fine at first, and then he became abusive, and she couldn't take it anymore, and she finally left him, and she, right there, you didn't need the opening 20 minutes of this or so. Opening half hour that you could take it out. This movie's an hour long. And it just, there's stuff in the middle where you have her adjusting to her new life, meeting this new man, and not really trusting him because she has trust issues because, that's something interesting because of what he did to her. So now she has trust issues with all men, They have one scene where she freaks out and tells him to leave, but then she confesses everything to him. But, that's it. There's no... And all of a sudden, she's, back with him again and stuff. She plays around too much. He's like, hey, putting these apples, and he's like, make a deal. I don't make deals. And then he comes in, he goes, here are these apples. It's like, okay. And he's like, hey, I'm going to make a pot roast tomorrow, 8 o'clock. You come by or not, I'll be eating pot roast for the next few days. Goes great with apple pie. And then, and she's not sure if she's showing. And then she shows up. And then there's this whole thing, will they one day thing. And then there's this whole dance number thing at this because he's a drama teacher. Right? So there's a whole, hey, oh, hey. And there's another song too that plays too. 90's movies like to incorporate 60s songs. Look at My Girl, which came out the year before this. Same year, actually, 91. Yeah. uh, having just watched Basic Instinct and having seen Fatal Attraction before, I don't know. This is basically a psychological thriller, but there's through the second half of the film, the middle part of the film, he is trying to track her down. He realizes because he gets a phone call from someone from the I don't know, not a YMCA, but I guess I don't know if it's a real place, the MCYA or the RCAA or I don't know what it was, WYCA or something like that, where and he's like, well, that's some mistake. My wife doesn't go there. He goes, no, she took swimming lessons. No, my wife can't swim. She's afraid of water. And then he starts to put something, and then he finds her wedding ring in the toilet. It didn't flush down. So he didn't use the toilet over the last few days. Maybe he's got more than one toilet, but it's just been sitting in there since she. Right? And why didn't it flush down? It just doesn't make any sense to me. All you needed was you didn't need the ring. All you needed was the whole thing. The whole. She took swim lessons, so maybe she's out there somewhere. So he starts to track her down, and he goes to the old folks' home she used to live in to talk to him to see if there's any, to talk to the lady there to see if there's any, things. And that's when he finds out, that the mother is still alive. Okay, so where did she go? And so he, and that she didn't, but Laura didn't tell the lady where she was taking her mother, just that she was going to live with them. And so that, that kind of, But he somehow eventually tracks her down and tracks down the mother. There's a great scene of tension. The only good scene of tension in this movie, I could say, is that she's there disguised as a man walking around, and he's there, and neither of them recognize each other. They walk by, they don't bump into each other, nothing. And so, yeah. And then eventually, they're like, she never. And then the lady says, "Oh, you asked if she had a visitor. She never had a visitor until today." A young woman, no, young man, mustache, just left. And he goes out. She's just gone, because yeah. And then, so he pretends to be a detective with the mother, and he's going to smother her until the nurse comes in. So he's all here, and gives her the pillow, and then leaves. And then, because she mentioned Sioux Falls or mentioned something, so he finds her, and what do you think he does? You think, you're searching for your wife that left you. You're gonna confront her. You're gonna freak out. You're gonna attack her, right? No, you're gonna sneak into her home, and you're gonna rearrange all her cupboards to be like you want them to be in your house, and then play that Shining music to freak her out. And it does. Then you come up on it. But do you attack? No, you pretend like you're going to be a loving husband again, even though at this point that's far off from it. And despite the fact that there's no real reason, okay, so he puts something in the toaster that causes the fire alarm to go off. Or do you just put bread in there and turn it all the way up to high so it burns the toast? I don't know. And he runs the water in the bathtub so it overflows. Oh, so evil. And then, so boyfriend guy, Ben, who she's been seeing, there, he heard the fire alarm go off, so he goes to check on her, but he's already there, Martin is his name, he's already there, the husband's already there, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay," and he's like, "Well, let me come in," and she's like, "No, I'm tired." But he figures it out, breaks down the door, for what? To get knocked the fuck out. Didn't save the day. And then there's a struggle, and she gets his gun. And then she calls the police. And he's like, "Oh, you gonna call the police? You gonna tell them how abusive I was? Doesn't matter. I'm still gonna find you. I'm still gonna find you. Take you away from me. I'll still find you." And then she'll sit and she says, they're like, "911, how can I help you?" She goes, "Help. I just shot an intruder." And his face is like, "Oh shit." And so she hangs up, shoots him 3 times, and the fucker is still not dead. He gets up and he grabs the gun, but there's no more bullets. And then he just succumbs to his wounds. And then her and Ben embrace as the cops come in to assumedly arrest her for murder because just saying he is an intruder. But it's gonna come out that it's her husband, although she could say I didn't see him. I just heard an intruder and shot. Like he broke in, attacked Ben, knocked him unconscious, and during the scuffle, the guy's gun was knocked out of his hand by Ben. She grabbed it and shot him 3 times. She couldn't see who it was. But then it's gonna come back around and say, "Oh, well, your name's not really Sarah, whatever it was. Your name is Laura, and you're supposed to be dead." And she's gonna say, "Well, I ran away from my abusive husband. I didn't know it was him." It's gonna be some kind of a court case. Something. She's not gonna get off scot-free with this. I don't know. I did like Julia Roberts' performance for the most part. You know, she's pretending she's being this meek character. She's had a lot of, issues, and it works. Her performance works. Patrick Bergen, on the other hand, I don't know what he's trying to do. There's just sometimes when he is trying to be like abusive and angry, where it's like, "Oh, you could balance it out in the middle somewhere, but now I'm gonna go way over the top." Just settle down, fella. You don't have to be so over the top with your performance, man. I'm just saying, but I don't know. It's meh for what it was. Like in the middle of the road. It's middle of the road. I don't know. I mean, I guess I really wanted to see this movie to see what I would think about it because I've never seen it. My mom has watched it several times on TV or something, and I remembered certain parts about her changing her name and everything. It's fine, but when Julia Roberts movies, Pretty Woman and Hook, are probably above it for me. I mean, I'm not big on Julia Roberts myself. Pretty Woman, I'll have to watch sometime, but this was fine. Like I said, it's the middle of the road. So we got 2 movies left. So what will be the movie I roll for? 1 or 2? 2. I know you usually go even or odds, but it's 2. So let's 2. Wait, 2. I almost just grabbed Dumb and Dumber because it's underneath. Watch, this is Dumb and Dumber. Okay, I should have just. I was grabbing for Dumb and Dumber. That's funny. Okay, so Dumb and Dumber is the last one we roll for. I will do that tomorrow. That and City Slickers, which is the other one, which I'm going to put in, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I'll be done and I'll do a ranking. So you're going to get 4 videos tomorrow. You're going to get Dumb and Dumber review, City Slickers, the ranking, and The Flash comes back tomorrow. So, yay for that. Another filler episode. Can't wait. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on Sleeping with the Enemy? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.